I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
This is another paid request, this time from Eric. Thank you so much for that. And for those who want to send in any topics, reactions, reviews, requests, re-reviews, random, anything, everything, whatever, or even just a simple donation, anything in between, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Now, Zone Cuba, if you don't know what this is a film that was on Mystery Science Theater 3000 quite a bit. And I think one of the people who created it said this was one of the worst films they had ever seen. It was made by a guy, what the hell was his name? Coleman Francis, who did the Beast of Yucca Flats. I think he did a film called The Skydivers. And in this film, he looks like an evil Curly Joe. Like, remember Curly Joe Dorita? Or even just Curly of the Three Stooges, but to me more like Curly Joe. It looks like an evil version of that. Because he's the star of the film as well as the director. And this movie is, in one word, boring. Boring, dreary. It's in black and white. It's incredibly and aptly edited. This is horrendously edited. It just seemed, let's just film what we can and just put them together and jigsaw puzzles that don't fucking fit. And if you try to say there's a plot in this, there's a lot of question marks to be placed under that title of plot. To try to explain the plot, you have a reporter that comes to talk this train engineer played by John Carradine. Characters that we will never see again. So John Carradine is telling, I don't know how the fuck he would know any of the story, because I don't even think he appears throughout the rest of the fucking movie. If he did, I missed it. If I did, I missed it. But hey, there's John Carradine. And talk about how back in 1960, 1961, there was a guy played by Coleman Francis who escaped from prison, got into the back of a pickup truck of these two yokels that are going south trying to find a job. They're ex-convicts, while this guy's a current convict. Ultimately, the three of them get together and they decide to make a plan to get a ride in a plane from a guy named Charity Jack that, I shoot you not, there's a sign that lasts for about 10 seconds is way too, no, it's shorter than that. Less than 3 seconds. The sign pops up and then it disappears. But it's on YouTube, so with this thing called pause, I'm like, what's on the sign? Will fly you anywhere, rates pretty reasonable. Fly is spelled F-L-I-E. Fly. F-L-I-E. Pretty reasonable. Pretty is spelled P-R-E-T-T-I-E. Pretty. That's pretty. Reasonable. That's misspelled, but it's like instead of an E, instead of an A, they put an E in. The fact that you can't spell fly right. And I'm like, okay, is this supposed to maintain that this pilot's an idiot? What, he's an idiot because he's Cherokee? Or the people making the film are too fucking stupid, and that's why the sign doesn't last too long. It's like, I gotta have the sign up there so you can see Cherokee Jack, but that's why it only appears for less than 3 seconds, because, oh shit, we know we fucked up in spelling, and we can't write another fucking sign. And the character never appears to be stupid, so it just makes you seem like you can't spell the word fucking fly. F-L-I-E. They take a plane to go to this military base that are just let in like that, so they could be part of a dozen men to invade Cuba for $2,000. I'm like, that's it? It'd take me a lot more than fucking $2,000, even in $1960, to go to fucking Cuba and invade it. But $1,000, and you get $1,000, and then another $1,000 if you come back alive. That sounds like a fucking ripoff to me. And just, there's a million things you ask, like, wait a minute, they just take anybody willy-nilly for a big military operation, and they train for like a day. And I don't remember if the training dealt with firing guns. So they go there, they get captured, you have an appearance of Fidel Castro with a beard is glued on. Oh, there's a point where a guy is climbing up a rock. A stick fell, and I thought it was just a stick, but then that's supposed to be a person. A person that fell off the cliff, but it looked like a fucking stick. And then I didn't even know if that guy was alive or dead. Because the next shot is a guy standing up. I'm like, was that guy dead? Or he fell that way like a stick, and then he's fine. They get captured. They just hear a bunch of gunfire, and our lead randomly says, Bay of Pigs. I just to give us frame of reference. To somehow he knows what the fuck the Bay of Pigs is. He's psychic. So, they escape. They get to a plane. Oh, believe me, I'll go back to the beginning. There's a lot of shit I'm missing, technical-wise, I'm going to describe. I'm just giving you the plot before I go back to square one. Then they go back to, like, Arizona or somewhere. Then they randomly kill some poor cafe owner. Slowly drop him in a well, but they're so cheap they can't afford to show us a well. So they just show something behind, and the guy's like, ah. Oh, and when they grab the cafe owner, if you listen closely, there's ADR where the cafe owner's like, no, please, do not do that. You don't want to do that. I am not over-exaggerating. That is the tone of voice. That is the sense of calmness. This guy, maybe he was suicidal. Maybe he was just a defeatist. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna die. Don't do it. I gotta say this, but, secretly you can do it. Yeah, please, no. And then the lead rapes the blind lady that's there, playing the piano. And then they leave. None of this had really anything to do with the plot. Then they get to this guy that they get to the wife of a guy they knew in the military. That they were there for like 2 days. And then she believes them that they're her husband's friends. And then something about a mine. And they go up there, and then somehow the cops knew they're there. arrests two of the last guy, Francis Coleman, shoots the lady, runs off, and they pick up the girl. Instead of taking her to a fucking hospital like anyone else would, because, you know, you get shot, there's this thing called hospitals. No, takes her back home, and lo and behold, the guy who was in the military and the guy who was caught with them in Cuba and said, your leg got gangrene, it's gonna die. You don't die in 24 hours. He's back with a cane just in time, and then I guess the girl's alive. She's like, hey. I'm like, so is the girl dead or alive? Like, she's moving, she's smiling, she's alive. Don't you want to take her to something called a hospital? What the fuck? And then Francis Coleman gets killed, shot. Let me go back. The acting sucks. Characters, what characters? The way it's filmed. Amateur is being kind. It's just so slow and boring. And you're wondering, where in the hell is this movie going? It's not even going in circles, because that would at least be a fucking direction. So I said the beginning with the reporter and John Carradine. Never see those again. You think that'd be a bookend? No. In a movie that's worth a shit, of some note, that'd be a bookend. At the end, John Carradine finishes telling the reporter, and there'd be some kind of message he says. No. No. And John Carradine, for those who don't know, he's, even at this time, an aging actor. He was in a ton of stuff. If you look up his credits, it's literally in the hundreds. John Carradine is one of those actors that never said no. Especially when it came to a horror film. He just took everything. He was in everything. Again, if you don't, just look up John Carradine's IMDb and look up his filmography. And you're like, holy shit. If someone did a marathon to review every film John Carradine had been in, they would still be at it after 10 fucking years. So he never said no. And then he sings the title song. Well, the other title, because one of the other titles is Night Train to Mundo Fine or something. Yeah, I think Night Train to Mundo Fine. And John Carradine sings it. It's not a good song, but it is one of those songs that gets stuck in your head. Night train to Mundo Fine, night train to the end. And honestly, if I have to pick one good thing, I guess it's that, because at least it's memorable. At least that's something memorable. Might not be good, but it's at least memorable. Again, the way it's edited, where the guy's hiding in the back of the pickup truck, and one shot, it looks like it's nighttime. And another shot, it's almost broad daylight. And one shot, it's much sunnier than the other shot. And you can tell these are all up. So you have a guy grabbing groceries, he's by himself. Then you have a guy behind the pickup, he's by himself. Then you have a guy talking, but it's up close like this. Hey, how's it going? And then another shot here. It's going well. There's a point later on when they're flying out of Cuba and they're steeping. There's this thing called screen direction. If you set up a bit where you're flying over here and the camera has you here, you keep that when you go back and forth. Because then when you're here, look at this direction, it confuses people. Like, wait a minute. Did you turn? Are you going the opposite way? So it'll turn from here, the guy flying the plane, cut to something, then he's here. And that's when they're leaving Cuba about the midway, or like, I guess 2/3 into the film. This is before they randomly I was going to say randomly rape the cafe. Might as well. It'd be just as random. And these ex-convicts, I guess, don't turn this guy in because, hey, we used to be convicts, and this guy, even though he looks like evil Curly from the Three Stooges and looks like he's going to shoot us in the face, this cop comes by when they're around a campfire. And the evil Curly runs off and hides behind, even though the cop would have seen, since his broad fucking spectrum, nothing's hidden. The cop's on the way in a car. He's not going to see some guy, walk around, go behind a rock. But apparently this cop is... Oh, maybe because the cop decided to park like 500 feet away. Okay, imagine the cop car. Imagine there's a camera. This right here. Cop car is coming. Stops about right here. About like 500 feet away. There's nothing blocking it. Why did the car stop there? Or here. Or here. No, it stops all the way over here. And then the next shot, he's right in front of the people. And it's one of those things, he got out and he teleported. And then when he's talking to these people, the other two guys, it's very... Hey, how's it going? I don't know. What are you doing? And literally, during the scene, the cop says there's a reward. There's a reward if we capture this guy. The one guy loudly says to the other, Griffin will kill you. In front of the cop. He says, like, Griffin will kill you. That's as loud as he says it. And this cop, like, doesn't... He must be like... Duh, 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 duh. And then, I guess because he's too busy thinking he's going to walk another 500 feet away that he parked for some reason all the fuck way back there. I don't know. What in the fuck? So the cop leaves, and that's when the three of them go off and find Charity Jack with the sign where someone can't spell shit. Well, they probably would spell shit, S-H-T-I. And then sometimes the dialogue is either too quiet, or it's recorded on the spot, or some is recorded on the spot, and then some is obviously ADR, and then some is much higher, much lower. But so even the audio is should not be surprised that the audio is not up to par in Red Zone Cuba. And then they don't join this group after this flight for $2,000, a whole whopping $2,000. And the other, $1,000 up front and $1,000 if you make it alive. Wow. But then their plan is, we'll take the $1,000, we'll leave, which that doesn't work out. And I'm like, well, even from this group, why do you think these guys will be worth a shit on your mission to invade Cuba? Someone even asked, how much help are they going to be? I don't know, but they're coming with us. That's all it takes. That's all it fucking takes. I don't know, but they're coming with us. So they train for a day. And then there's a funny bit where the three of them are standing. They go, we'll hide until they shove off. They wait 4 seconds. Okay, go. And of course they get stopped, and a dozen of them take this boat to Cuba, and they climb out. They climb a mountain. Something happened with the line, I guess, and someone fell that looked like a piece of stick. But then I don't even know if that guy's alive or if he's dead, because another guy that looks just like him is at the bottom. And I think at that point, there's not even any sound effects. There was just music. So then the three get captured. They're put in a shed. They hear a bunch of gunfire. That's when the guy says, "Bay of Pigs." Some people they're with, they get put out and shot, firing lines. The one guy who talked about, oh yeah, I got a wife back home and got a mine. oh, you got gangrene, you're not going to last 24 hours. Apparently that was a lie, because he did. He did get back home. So they escape, they run towards a plane. And again, the way it's edited, this is a perfect example. If you ever see this film, I don't know why you would, but if you ever see this film, this is a scene that's a perfect example of the shitty editing. Where one is going to fly the plane. Two are running. The two are together. But you see one guy running, cameras on the side, and you see a bunch of planes behind him. And it's like broad daylight. Then that's just the other guy, who I guess is behind him. It's a lot darker, and the camera and him run is like this. They'll cut to the other guy running like this near the airplane, and the second guy, much darker, screen going. So it's like, okay, the way they filmed it, these two were not even on set at the same time, which is funny because Coleman Francis is the director. You think he would have, he's like, well, to get this plane shot where there's all these planes behind, I gotta do it by myself, sorry. So you can't be here. Oh shit. And then we see him get on the plane, but we don't see the third guy get on the plane. So I thought, oh, they left the third guy. They must have left the third guy behind. No, the plane lands and that guy gets out of the plane. I'm like, again, it'd be nice if you saw him get in the plane. That's what I mean. Like, this is so inaptly directed and edited. And again, at times, it's too bright. It's too dark. The sound mix is all fucked up. Well, you know what? If it's a YouTube video with zero budget, that's one thing. But you're making a fucking film for theatrical distribution. Yeah, I think a little bit more coherence, capability, and merit and worth could be brought upon yourself. Especially if this isn't even your first fucking film. It wasn't even his second fucking film. This was, I think, his third fucking film. At least. And like I said, when they land, they go to a random cafe. They kill the owner. I don't even remember why. The Coleman Francis rapes a blind girl. Then they leave. See the one guy from, again, his wife, deal with the mine. And then there's these cops that go, we spotted the fugitives. I don't remember where the cops come from. I don't remember how the cops came to be. If it was from the murder of the cafe. They didn't really establish that. Plus, it's a blind lady. It's not like she could describe who the fuck they were. The woman that got raped. Yeah, well, actually, I can't describe what they were because I'm blind. But I know one guy did rape me. And still looking for the fugitives. What do you mean fugitives? There's only one fugitive. The other two were ex-convicts. So what do you mean fugitives? There's only one fugitive. So what do you mean you're looking for... So we spotted the fugitives. But there's only one guy that broke out of jail. It's like the movie was so stupid. They somehow thought that all three broke out of jail. And what? How long has it been since they were training this military? They went to Cuba, which I'm sorry, when you take a boat to Cuba, it's not going to take, 20 minutes. And then how long were they in this prison? And then they escaped and they took a plane. It must have been quite a while. But the cops are still searching for them. And was it even the same state they went back to? Anyway, and I don't know why the cops are there. And the way they recognize them, they see a random car far away driving in the desert. And you go, that's them. You didn't even see their faces. Fuck do you know it was them? I don't know. They talk more with the girl. The four of them go into the mine. They get stopped. The two guys get arrested. The girl gets shot. Like I said, the guy, Coleman Francis, Evil Curly Joe, he runs for it. Some people pick up the shot lady. They don't take to a fucking hospital, which would make sense. Like I said, they take her to this other place, to home. I just had to take her home so that the one guy gets to his home and finds his wife shot, but I guess she's alive. I'm like, maybe you want to take her to a hospital now? But then, again, this is the editing. By this point, I guess there's helicopters and there's people chasing Coleman Francis. So it will go to her being alive, waking up in this pickup truck, looking at her husband. Immediately it cuts to a Karen passing by and the guy, Coleman Francis, I'm like, did the camera shoot him? Did the chopper? Did someone shoot him in the chopper? But the camera is like on the ground. So did the helicopter get all the way on the ground and then fly up? Or was it the people? I don't even know who shot him. I don't know what shot him. The chopper, the men, or the fucking camera. And then thunder starts playing. Like thunder as if it's lightning and thunder is ready to happen. Like thunder's happening, lightning and rain is going to happen. Why is it thundering now? Why is there a thunder sound? Is someone going to play Thunderstruck? And then you hear the narrator go, he ran all the way to hell with a penny and a cigarette. Because that's all he had. Guess he didn't have that $1,000 he got earlier, but it just... I cannot stress how boring it is. You can watch it either for free on YouTube by itself or watch it with Mystery Science 3000. I'm not a big Mystery Science Theater 3000 guy, but if you ever do watch it, just watch it with that. I did not, because I watched it on its own. And, yeah, it's pretty damn bad. It's considered one of the worst films ever. I can understand why. Is it the worst film? It's up there. I mean, I still say Feeders and Feeders 2 are the worst films I've ever seen in my life. Those are still the worst. But this was pretty bad. Any positives? Seeing so many films like this, it was like, oh cool, John Carradine. And wow, he's saying the song at the beginning? Interesting. And it being in black and white made it different from the films I've been seeing lately. Now you know I'm scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel when I'm like, oh, it's black and white. It's interesting. Yeah, this movie is a pile of shit. Gets a 2.79 to be. It deserves it. It deserves it. It's incredibly inept in direction, in editing, in sound mix. A plot that not only is it outlandish, not only is it ridiculous, not only is it stupid, but it fucking goes nowhere. And I don't know what else to say. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.